did this video call last?
Yeah, it was a video conference and it lasted pretty close to an hour. It started just after 1 o'clock and got over just before 2 o'clock.
Was he in his just usual...
He was in his prison blues, we call him. He has prison uniform.
And who was with him?
His mother was there as his representative.
And so tell me some of the questions. I mean, can you tell me just some of the things that were asked and what his answers basically?
Well, the chair of the parole board asked him what his plans would be if he was paroled, where he would live, what he would do for income, how he would address his sizable restitution amount. They talked about his crime. I think throughout the interview, prisoner Kilpatrick definitely acknowledged his guilt. He made reference to his criminal acts. He laid out a plan to return to Texas and start his own company and doing speaking engagements, consulting work, and he said he would focus on paying his restitution. And I think he several times acknowledged that he would try to move on with his life and recognize what he did was wrong.
Was he asked what his message would be in his speeches to people?
Well, he talked about that he had a story to tell, particularly to young people. He mentioned maybe talking to universities. He said he had a few engagements already offered to him. He didn't elaborate on what those would be, but he talked about that his message would be one of overcoming, coming back up, humility. He said he went from being a mayor of Detroit and riding on Air Force One and traveling to other countries to taking showers and handcuffs and being told when he could go to the bathroom. And so, he said he's grown a lot inside. He said he's a much more humble person, and that he's learned a lot, and he's a different person now, is what he told the parole board.
Was he asked if he was remorseful?
He was, and I think that he, throughout the interview, expressed that on a number of occasions.
What did he say?
He recognized that his part in this whole thing, I mean, there was some reference, some questions made about his testimony in another civil court case where he made some comments about that he'd do it all over again. That was discussed. He mentioned that that was taken out of context, and he expressed remorse on several occasions, and that the comments that were in that transcript were not his true feelings on the way he feels about this issue.
And did he talked about his plans to be like a motivational speaker. Did he say anything about getting back into politics?
Well, he said that he would tell the citizens of Detroit that he has no desire to return there to be mayor. He does not want to be mayor again. He said that he's done with politics. He said he was never really happy as mayor of the city of Detroit, that he's happy now. He's in a good place with his family, and he wants to return to Texas and be with his family and pay his restitution.
So he wanted to... Go ahead and continue, sorry. Just want to make sure we heard you.
Was that bus?
Yeah.
No, I forgot the question.
About return to politics.
Oh. Yes, he indicated that he would tell the citizens of Detroit that he has no desire to return there to be mayor. He said he does not want to be mayor again. He said he was never really happy as mayor of the city of Detroit. He said he's happy now, and he's grown a lot since he's spent time in prison, and I think he said he's done with politics.
Can you just maybe mention some actual questions that were asked of him? I mean, because he was asked, and if you could say the question too, but like first thing he would do, second thing, can you just say, he was asked?
Yeah, the parole board chair asked him what the first thing he would do if he was paroled, and he mentioned that he would hug his...
I did that one more time.
The parole board chair asked him what the first thing he would do if he was paroled, and he mentioned that the first thing he would do was hug his wife and kids, express his sorry. He said he would do a better job of being a father, and that he would never hurt them again.
What else was he asked?
He said the second thing he would do is focus on working and paying his restitution and following the conditions of his parole.
You were there. What was your sense of him? Just watching him, seeing him.
Well, he seemed pretty happy. They asked about his mental state. He said he was happy. As I said, his mother was there with him. He gave pretty lengthy answers to the questions. He he seemed pretty upbeat. You know, he did on a number of occasions say that he really wanted to go home and be with his family and focus on the next phase of his life.
Did anything surprise you about his answers or his demeanor? Or?
No, I think that you know, just some of the things that we've read. You know, the repeated acknowledgement of remorse and that what he did was wrong. He mentioned that he understands that he was a significant factor in reducing the morale in the city of Detroit. He said he did a few good things as mayor, but he also recognized that, you know, his actions over the last several years have torn apart the city, and he wanted to just move on and allow the citizens of the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan to move on and prosper, were his words.
And at some point he also said, at some point he talked about the decisions, even admitting that he had committed criminal acts. I guess what question was asked and what solicited that kind of answer?
Well, repeatedly through the interview, he recognized that what he did was wrong, and he even used the words criminal. So he said that he's responsible for his criminal actions, recognized that what he did was criminal.
The media came up?
Yes. He mentioned that, you know, that before he had tried to, after leaving his post as mayor, tried to hide from the press. He recognized that wasn't the best course of action. He said he would deal with the media head on. He said if they were outside the prison if he was paroled, he would talk to them. He said he would address the issues head on and be honest and upfront, and wouldn't try to hide, you know, in his house in Texas and run from them. He said he would deal with them head on and try and move past that.
In terms of emotion, was he jovial at times? Were there any tears? Describe the emotion, I guess, of it.
He was pretty upbeat. I think there was one particular time where he got a little choked up, where he said, you know, one of the things he wanted to do is see his grandfather. He mentioned that he was not feeling well and that he was getting up there in age, and he said his grandfather wanted to have him come sit on his porch and that he would like to do that.
Anything else I didn't ask? Any quote or any particular question?
No, I think I gave you all this stuff.
What did they ask you about the federal charges?
Yes, they did. They did discuss his pending federal charges. He mentioned that he thought that those would be pushed out a little bit further than next year. He asked if, you know, if he would be paroled to custody, paroled to detainer, we call it. And since the federal charges, the federal prosecutor has given him a bond on that, the chairperson said that he would not, if he was paroled, he would be, you know, paroled to supervision because the federal charges or the federal authorities allowed him to be out on bond.